Today's lesson is called Andy Samberg, King of Comedy in the Digital Age. Hello, everyone. My name is Jeff.
My name is Roger, and today we're talking about Andy Samberg, our featured king of comedy in the digital age. You might enjoy watching his short videos on the internet. And remember, we kind of summarized his career in our last program. He always knew that he wanted to be a comedian. When he was 8 years old, he had already decided that he wanted to be on Saturday Night Live. He did stand-up comedy. He formed a comedy group called The Lonely Island, and they performed on stage, and he did some writing for the MTV Movie Awards. And then later he was invited to try out for Saturday Night Live, and his dream came true when he became a cast member in 2005.
And don't forget the videos there, Roger. He has become the king of comedy in the digital age because of his videos. When he formed The Lonely Island, remember, they started making those humorous rap videos. But without a service like YouTube there, how could these videos go viral and make you famous? Well, that's where YouTube comes in. Remember, Samberg, he joined SNL and he made an SNL digital short called Lazy Sunday that he then released on YouTube, and the rest is history. Andy Samberg is now the king of comedy in the digital age. This is how people refer to him. Anyways, folks, with that, it's time for us to take a break. But when we come back, we'll start reading from the second part of our lesson on Andy Samberg.
In the 7 years that Samberg worked as an SNL cast member, he and The Lonely Island produced about 100 digital shorts. And since Samberg left SNL in 2012, he has worked in both film and television. Samberg played the lead character Jonathan in the animated film series Hotel Transylvania, and in 2013 he landed the role of Detective Jake Peralta in the long-running TV sitcom Brooklyn Nine-Nine, about a team of cops at a New York police station. This role earned Samberg critical praise and elevated him to superstar status.
大家好，第一部分我们看到单字 lead， 这个字是名词，指主角。例如 Tom Hanks played the lead in the film Castaway。 汤姆汉克斯在电影《浩劫重生》里担任主角。另外，除了上面的意思，这个字当名词时还有以下两种用法。第一，指线索、提示，像是 The reporter is searching for leads on the story about the politician。 该记者在搜寻关于那名政客故事的线索。第二，指铅，铅笔的笔芯，作此意时念作 lead。 我们可以说 In the past, lead was used to make cups and plates。 在过去，铅被用来制作杯子和盘子。接着我们看到一个名词 detective， 指侦探、探员，像是 The detective found no clues at the murder site except a small silver key。 侦探在谋杀案现场找不到线索，除了一只银色的小钥匙。另外，这个字也可以当形容词，指侦探的。举例来说 I love spending the afternoon reading detective novels。 我喜欢在下午阅读侦探小说。再来，我们看到单字 elevate， 这个字是动词，指提拔、提升地位。例如 Timothy was elevated to a higher position at the law firm。 Timothy 在法律事务所被提拔到一个更高的职位。另外，除了上面的意思，这个字还可以指抬高、举起。举例来说If you feel faint, lie down and elevate your legs. 如果你觉得头晕，可以躺下来把脚抬高。
Okay, let's continue to talk about the career of Andy Samberg. In the 7 years that Samberg worked as an SNL cast member, he and The Lonely Island produced about 100 digital shorts. So, yeah, you might want to go on the internet and see if some of those are posted out there somewhere, but there are a lot of them. There are about 100 of those digital short videos, those digital shorts, okay? And he produced them with this particular comedy group, The Lonely Island, while he was a cast member of Saturday Night Live. Remember, he wasn't a cast. Cast is the whole group. He was a member of the cast, just like you can be a member of the audience or a member of the team, etc.
The same goes for the word staff as well. You can be a staff member, but you wouldn't say that you're a staff, by the way. Let's say if you're working at a school, a university, or some type of office, when you're talking about that group of people who work in a place like that, you can call those people the staff. But let's say you are connected to the performing arts in some way, shape, or form, okay? If you're talking about actors, let's say, who act in a certain movie, they're the cast of that movie. And yes, if you are a part of the cast of SNL, it just means that you're one of the performers that perform on that particular show. Now, Andy Samberg joined SNL in 2005, and he stayed there for about 7 years. And in that time, boy, did he ever make a lot of videos. He made over 100 digital shorts. That's pretty cool. Now, since Samberg left SNL in 2012, he has worked in both film and television. He's got a very popular TV show there. I believe it's called Brooklyn Nine-Nine that we'll be talking there soon, but he's also worked in film as well.
That's right. In film, he's been in movies, and he's been on TV. Now, moving on to the next paragraph here, it says, Samberg played the lead character, Jonathan, in the animated film series Hotel Transylvania, and in 2013, he landed the role of Detective Jake Peralta in the long-running TV sitcom Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which is about a team of policemen or cops at a New York police station. So these are some of the things he did after he left Saturday Night Live. First of all, it says he played the lead character in the movie Hotel Transylvania. Now, this is an animated film, which means it's cartoon or it has computer-generated images or CGI. So he's not actually in it. You can't actually see him, but you can hear him. He voices the character of Jonathan in this particular movie, and there was more than one Hotel Transylvania movie, so we're calling it a film series or a series of animated films, just like Toy Story or Monsters Incorporated, Cars. You get the idea.
There you go. And he was the lead character. That means he was numero uno when it comes to Hotel Transylvania. He was the star. Then in 2013, he started work on Brooklyn Nine-Nine. By the way, it says here that he plays a detective in this particular show. He's kind of like Sherlock Holmes in that you solve crimes, but you're also part of a police force.
That's right. He's a detective in this particular sitcom. So, yes, it's a situation comedy, which means they're police officers, but there are lots of jokes and people laughing and stuff like that. You would not call CSI Crime Investigation a sitcom because it's more serious and there's not a lot of laughing going on. Now, this role earned Samberg critical praise and elevated him to superstar status. So people saw him in this sitcom, in this TV show, and they thought he was really great, so it earned him critical praise. Critics in newspapers and on websites said, hey, you got to watch this show with Andy Samberg. It's a really great show, but it's even greater because of Andy Samberg, so he got critical praise, and that raised him to the status of superstar. Here we've got the word elevate, which means to move something from a lower level to a higher level. Just like in the United States, if you want to go into a building, you want to go to the 10th floor, well, you take an elevator. You take a lift in England, but you take an elevator in the US. That's a noun, but here elevate is a verb. It just made him a superstar. He was raised to this status. Some people say status. Both pronunciations are correct. It's just kind of your position.
Here before, maybe he was on the C list, then he was on the B list, and now he's on the A list. Everybody wants to work with this guy. He has achieved superstar status. All right, folks, with that, it is time for us to take a short break, but don't go away. We'll be back soon.
And Samberg isn't finished yet. This year, he starred in the romantic comedy Palm Springs, which he also co-produced. When the film was released in July 2020, it broke American streaming platform Hulu's opening weekend record and scored a 100% fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes, the U.S. Film and Television Review website.
Okay, we're continuing to talk about the career of Andy Samberg. So he's done a lot so far. He's been on Saturday Night Live. He was in an animated film series, Hotel Transylvania. He was in a sitcom about a policeman in Brooklyn, New York there. And here in the next paragraph it says, and Samberg isn't finished yet. Of course, his career is still going. He's not that old yet. This year, he starred in the romantic comedy Palm Springs. Sometimes romantic comedies are rom-coms as opposed to sitcoms. A rom-com or romantic comedy, of course, is a funny movie that involves romance. This particular film came out earlier this year. It's called Palm Springs, which I believe is a town in California somewhere. And he also co-produced this movie, so he produced it with somebody else. Remember, when you see movie credits, there's always a producer and a director, and sometimes the work is too much for one producer, so he worked together with another producer. He was a co-producer.
Yeah, he also probably co-produced here because he knew that he was a star, that people would be interested in this movie because of him, so he wants a piece of ownership in this particular film so he can make some extra cash there on the side. Yeah, pay me to star in your movie, but I also want to rake in some money when this particular movie hits it big in the box office. By the way, he is a superstar, but will that particular success then transfer onto the silver screen, being a viable leading man there in person on TV? Does that mean you'll also be a good movie star? We just don't know for sure. But yes, things are looking good for him this year. He did star in this romantic comedy Palm Springs, and get this, when the film was released in July 2020, it broke American streaming platform Hulu's opening weekend record and scored a 100% fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes, the U.S. Film and Television Review website. And there you go. He has made it on the silver screen, not really on big silver screens there in movie theaters across the United States because of COVID-19. Nobody really goes to movies anymore, but when this movie was released on Hulu there, it did quite well. So there you have it. He is a viable leading man. One day when they do open the movie theaters up once again, maybe, just maybe, you'll see him gracing the actual silver screen, and you won't have to see him just on Hulu and other streaming platforms like that.
Okay, that brings us to the end of the second part of our lesson. Let's move on now to the third part.
Samberg is nothing if not grateful for the chance he has had to pursue the career of his dreams. As the veteran comedian has said, "If you're going to be a human being on Earth, I couldn't ask for more."
"第三部分我们看到一个片语 be nothing if not 指极其非常像是 these paintings are nothing if not beautiful 这些画美极了，或是 this hotel is nothing if not cheap 这间饭店极其便宜。最后我们看到单字 veteran 这个字是形容词，指资深的、经验丰富的。例如 Andy is a veteran animal trainer who has worked in the field for over 30 years Andy 是位资深动物训练师，在这个领域工作30多年了。另外，这个字也可以是名词，指经验丰富的人，退役军人，像是 Darnell's a veteran at the soup kitchen. He's been helping out here for almost 10 years. Darnell 是慈善厨房里熟悉面孔了，他已经在这里帮忙快10年了。或是 The old man was a World War II veteran. 勒明老先生是2次世界大战的退役军人。
All right, Samberg He has hit the big time. He is a superstar on TV, in the movies, on the internet. He has really got it made. But is he boastful and arrogant? No, he's quite a down-to-earth guy. Yes, Sandberg is nothing if not grateful for the chance he has had to pursue the career of his dreams. So he knows that he is a lucky guy. Not many people know exactly what they want to do at age 8, let's say, and then actually achieve what they want. Not many people are able to achieve their dreams and then to actually surpass those dreams. So Sandberg knows this, and he's grateful that he's had this particular opportunity in his life. He's grateful for all the fortune and luck that he has had. By the way, if you are grateful for something, you know how valuable something is to you, and you recognize that. So if you are grateful to someone, not only are you saying thank you, but you're also making it clear that you understand how valuable that person is to you, or you're saying, I know how valuable what you did for me. I know how valuable that was.
You're expressing gratitude, basically. So yes, he's nothing if not grateful for the chance he has had to pursue the career of his dreams, the dream he had ever since he was 8 years old. So we've got this phrase here, to be nothing if not something. It's similar in meaning to the phrase nothing but. So he's nothing if not grateful. You could also say he is nothing but grateful, which means he's only grateful. He's totally grateful for the chance he has had. So he's quite humble in this regard. He's not full of himself. He's not arrogant or whatever. And as the veteran comedian has said, if you're going to be a human being on Earth, I couldn't ask for more. So he's a veteran comedian here. A veteran usually refers to someone who served in the armed forces. They used to be in the Army or the Navy or the Air Force or the Marines or the Coast Guard or whatever. That's a veteran. But you could also use this word to refer to someone who has been doing something for a long time, whether they have retired or not. So he's a veteran comedian. He's been around for a long time. He's an experienced comedian. And here's what he had to say. If you're going to be a human being on Earth, well, gee, I'm totally grateful. I couldn't ask for more. Everything has gone really well for me.
Anyways, folks, with that, our lesson on Andy Samberg is now in the books, and it's time for you guys to hear from the Chinese teacher.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天的文法重点。课文第一部分有一个 sitcom 是指情境喜剧，它是由 situation comedy 所组成的。那另外句子里面用到 land the role 是指获得角色， land 在这边当动词来表达获得、成功得到，那后面常常会接 role part job position 等等去表达角色、工作或是职位的名词。例如 Mary didn't land her dream job. Mary 没有成功得到她的梦想工作。好，那课文第二部分提到 Andy Samberg 今年主演的浪漫喜剧片 Palm Springs 在这个烂番茄上得到了100%的新鲜评价。那课文是在 Rotten Tomatoes 后面接了The U.S. Film and Television Review website 来补充说明 Rotten Tomatoes 烂番茄是美国的影视评论网站。那这是同位语的用法。好，同位语呢通常会摆在名词或名词片语的后面来做补充说明。那在句子里面要用逗号把同位语跟句子隔开。举例来说 Jessica, a friend of my sister's is a fashion model. 我的姐姐的一个朋友 Jessica 是一位时尚模特儿。好，那么第一句里面这个 a friend of my sister's 就是同位语，用来补充说明它前方的 Jessica。那这时候这个同位语的前后都要加逗号跟句子隔开。好，那么其实呢，同位语可以当作是非限定用法关系子句所简化而来的分词片语，这听起来有点复杂，那我们用例句来解说比较清楚。例如 She lives in Seoul, 逗号which is the capital of South Korea. 她住在首尔，那是南韩的首都。好，由于先行词首尔是特定事物，我们不用去限定它的范围，所以在这边它是用非限定用法。 那这个关系子句 which is the capital of South Korea 的功能呢，就是用来补充说明首尔是南韩的首都，所以我们刚刚说 which 的前面就会有逗号咯。好，那接着呢，我们可以试着简化关系子句，先把关系代名词 which 省略，然后把 is 改成现在分词 being， 那就会形成分词片语 being the capital of South Korea， 但是 being 通常会再省略哦，那么句子就会简化成 She lives in Seoul, the capital of South Korea。 有没有发现它是从 which is the capital of South Korea 把它简化成 the capital of South Korea？ 然后呢，同学们有没有注意到the capital of South Korea 就相当于首尔的这个同位语咯。所以我们最后来帮同学们整理一下，当非限定关系子句的句型结构是关系代名词加 be 动词加名词，那我们这时候可以把它省略关系代名词和 be 动词之后所留下那个名词，你就可以把它视为先行词的同位语了。好，以上是今天重点整理，我们来回顾今天的单字吧。
Lead. The boy was excited when he was given the lead role in the school play. Detective. The detective proved that the suspect was innocent. Elevate. After working at the company for several years, Sam was elevated to the position of manager. Status. His status went up when he left his acting career and became a politician. Grateful. Doris is grateful for her parents' love and support.
Discussion Starter starts now!
Here's our discussion starter for today. Do you like watching comedies? Have you ever watched one of Andy Samberg's comedies?
Actually, comedy isn't my cup of tea. I enjoy watching serious European art films. Rarely, if ever, do they laugh in serious European art films. I'm particularly a fan of the French New Wave, Jean-Luc Godard's Contempt or Le Mépris. I recommend it heavily.
Okay, well, that sounds pretty cool here, but, well, actually, I'm a big fan of comedies. I've seen lots of those movies, and, of course, I go to comedies so I can laugh as hard as I can. Sometimes I laugh so hard that the uvula in my throat starts sticking out past my teeth, so Andy Samberg's movies are no exception. Whenever I see him in those short movies, I just can't stop laughing.
Okay, everyone. With that, today's article is now complete. But, as always, we sure hope that you guys have enjoyed reading along with us. Anyways, I'm Jeff.
I am Roger.
See you next time.